Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with some hashtag CB99 Talks. Make sure y'all subscribe. So I got a question for y'all, man. Just had this thought yesterday after Weili Zhang, she destroyed Jessica Andrade in 42 seconds. Now that Weili Zhang is the next strawweight champion, she's that brand new strawweight champion. Do you think that she could be the next reigning champion of the division? And by reigning, do you think she can go on that long title streak? Do you think she can dominate? Do you think she can hold on to it? Because as we know, the longest reigning champion was Joanna, who held it for 2 years, 5 title defenses. She lost it to Rose. Rose defended it once before losing it to Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade couldn't even defend it one time and lost it to Weili Zhang in her first title defense. So now that Weili Zhang, she's the next champion, I'm kind of wondering, myself, does she have that potential? Does she have that ability to hold on to it? Before I get into that, first I got to say that I really had no problem with her getting the title shot because, on the business side, it was a great opportunity for her. She's Chinese and this is her home country and she wanted to make history. To me, there wasn't really nothing wrong with this decision because, Tatiana Suarez, to me, the real number one contender, of course, she was out on injury. And everyone else, to me, was either tied up or undeserving of the shot, So other than that, there was just Weili Zhang sitting out there who was really making a statement with the wins that she did pick up. She had gone on a 19 fight winning streak, so I felt like, hey, she could be the next champion. She could be the next contender for somebody like her, for Jessica Andrade while Tatiana Suarez is out. But anyways, Weili Zhang, she stepped up, she won it. Now, question is, can she reign? Can she hold on to it? Well, to me, I think she has that potential. I think she could hold on to it. I really think that as long as she doesn't take anything for granted, when she stays consistent in her performances, if she goes even harder with each fight, I think that, she could, I think she could hold on to it. Because, like they say, a lot of fighters have said before, winning the championship is a lot easier than defending it. And, I've seen it. I've seen it in performances in the past, where there have been just those one-time champions who couldn't hold on to it. It takes a lot to become a long-reigning champion. In history, we had guys like Joe Louis who could defend his heavyweight title, Larry Holmes, Bernard Hopkins. All these guys have, held on to their titles in the past, like Roy Jones at light heavyweight. They would hold on to it because, they wanted to be that champion. They didn't want to just be a champion. They wanted to be remembered as that champion. And I feel like there's been a lot of fighters out there who just fought to get to that one belt. And then, it's like they hit that climax and then they just kind of fall flat. They don't have that in them where it's like, hey, this is mine. I want to defend it. For somebody like Weili Zhang, I think that she has that ability to kind of level up each time just because where she came from as far as, her just her style of fighting, and just the way she's kind of approached the game. And now she's here in the UFC and she goes over here and makes this big statement and wins it. I don't think she really wants to be known as just that one-time champion, especially after going, their home country and making a big statement like that in 42 seconds. I think that, that was kind of fuel to her fire. Now it's like, I want it in this fashion. I want to keep it, the same way in this fashion and keep defending it because, in the past, you've seen a lot of fighters, they kind of target that champion. They're the kinds that like to just kind of train for the champion. They don't just train to become they train to fight that one champion, but it's almost like that's where it stops. They don't really become this like well-rounded fighter. If you looked in the past, like somebody like, the Roy Jones Tarver saga, Tarver, he used to bug the hell out of Roy, go to these press conferences, bug him, until they fought, gave him a tough fight the first time. He lost. He beat Roy the second and third time just because, he studied Roy and, he knew how to get under Roy's skin mentally, technically. He studied him to a T. But after that, when he won the title, he didn't hold on to it that long because then it was like all these other styles out there. It was almost like I said, he had just trained for that one style, but not, to become that well-rounded fighter. I think somebody like Weili Zhang, she's definitely showed potential to be, more well-rounded. She definitely showed some well-roundedness in the fights that, she had in the UFC. Jessica Aguilar, where she beat Jessica Aguilar, Danielle Taylor, Tisha Torres. So I think that she's just a fighter that likes to, fight, that likes to prepare for any type of style. She's just not going in there saying, oh, Jessica Andrade's my next opponent. I'm going to just study for this one thing. I really think whatever Jessica Andrade was going to bring that night, she would have had an answer for. And same with her next opponent. She's going to try her best and, try to have that answer for it. And, yeah, I think she has that ability to kind of adapt to whatever a fighter has. And to be a long-reigning champion, you really have to. If you look at somebody like Andre Ward, he didn't really have one type of style that you just kind of pinpoint. He would kind of go in there and adapt to whoever it was, Carl Froch, Saki Obika, whoever it was. He was in there, adapting to the style and just trying to find a way to win. And finding a way to win isn't just something physical and technical. It's something mental too. Mental is the biggest part. You have to remember boxing, MMA, any combat sport, 97% mental. You got to have that mental ability to say, I can't be beat, and I got to, ball all this up, technical skill, physical, the physical, the mental, you got to be able to put all that together. And, that'll kind of help a fighter, in their situation to say, hey, I got to be able to, come up with anything or adapt to anything another opponent brings. But I think Weili Zhang, she's kind of showed signs of that, in her come up and whenever she won the championship. And speaking of mental, I think the next key for Weili Zhang that I've seen in her and that, I want to see more of her is that, that mental dominance. By mental dominance, I mean that's that one attribute of fighter, has to go in there and always say, hey, this championship is mine. I'll die for it. It's almost like my baby. It's like you're trying to take something from me. It's like you're trying to take, food off my plate. I'll die before you take it. It's that killer instinct. And it kind of goes back to somebody like Ronda Rousey. I wasn't a big Ronda Rousey fan, but I definitely give her a lot of respect as far as, her mental ability and her mental dominance in the octagon. She wasn't the best well-rounded fighter. She didn't have boxing game or hand game, but I give her a lot of credit because when she won that title, her mental dominance was something big. It was like nobody else's. It was so strong that it was like you couldn't tell her anything. Hey, if this is how I'm gonna take you out, this is how I'm gonna take you out. If this is how we're gonna fight in the octagon, you're gonna fight my style because I'm gonna win. So I'm making you adapt to my style, and if you can't, I'm taking you out. Which her fights never lasted that long, right? They always went one round, and I really feel like she had that mental dominance, that no other woman fighter really had. She held her title for like 5 or 6 title defenses. And to me, she really showed me how much a fighter like her really appreciated the situation they were in when they were on top. It wasn't just a belt. It was just wanting to be better and exceed over everybody else. It wasn't just like I said, wasn't that belt she was thinking about. She was just that type of fighter that said, hey, I like being here on top. I like being, the standout. And that's something somebody like Weili Zhang, she's going to really have to prove. And I think she shows signs of that. And Weili Zhang, she has that appreciation of hard work. I feel like, she's definitely seems like the protective type. She really wants to protect what she's earned. She looks to train hard, watching her train and just listening to some of her interviews. She sounds ready in all her fights. And you got to remember, this is a fighter who hasn't experienced losing since 2013. You know what I mean? Like 20 fights later and she's never lost. So to me, that shows me that's a fighter that doesn't like the feeling of losing and wants to continue to get better and better and never want to experience that again. She went 19 fights, all the way up to the UFC. Her last fight against Tisha Torres. And then after that, she got the title. 20 fights later, like I said, it's like she just wants to get better and better. That's the kind of side. That's what I've seen from her. It's not like I won the belt and that's where it stops. No, she wants to keep going from here. So, that's just another good key to that she needs, and something I see in her where it's kind of like, yeah, I could see her going on as that longer reigning champion. But when it comes down to opponents, hey, that's where it's going to become difficult, man. Like I could see her definitely pulling out the win. I'm giving a tough fight to the winner of Joanna versus Michelle Waterson. That's definitely possible. I'm a big Rose Namajunas fan. I'm going to be going for Rose in that fight, of course. But I think that Weili Zhang definitely has that potential to beat her, just because she's a little bit more intact with the, you know, everything that's going on with her right now versus somebody like Rose. Like, we don't know if Rose really wants it again. And if she comes back to the octagon, will she want it just as much? So right now I do lean towards her in those fights, but I think she'll show signs of really wanting to keep the title in these fights, even if she did lose. You know, she just wouldn't go in there and fall flat. Like I said, you know, some people, they go in there first title defense and they give it up. You know, they don't fight to the death. It look like they want it. You know what I mean? They actually show signs of like they just want to lay down and give it up because they don't want it anymore, you know? So I think even whenever she fights Tatiana Suarez, you know, and I'm a Tatiana Suarez fan, so I am going for Tatiana in that fight, and I feel like Tatiana can beat Weili Zhang, but Weili Zhang is definitely going to give her a tough fight and give her all she can take. And like I said, she's definitely going to show that heart to be that fighter that wants to hold on to the title. You know, that'll show even if she does lose. You know, I don't think she's the type to fall flat. But yeah, man, that's just my thoughts on that. I was just kind of looking at Weili Zhang and some of her fights, and just looking at her overall record and, you know, her drive. You know, I was just kind of impressed how, you know, she came all the way up, you know, from 2013 after one loss, her first professional fight. And, you know, she just went 20 fights, 6 years without losing, you know, and that's why I just kind of had that question for y'all. You know, I just wanted to know if y'all think she has that ability to defend the title as many times as Joanna or more. But yeah, that's all I got on this one, guys. You know, like I said, you know, just let me know in the comment section what y'all think. What y'all think of Weili Zhang? Will she hold on to it? Will she lose in the first title defense? Yeah, that's just leave that in the comment section. Make sure y'all subscribe. #CB99Talks. I'm out. Peace.